According to The Atlantic, Steve Jobs magazine or publication that he owns, Laurene Jobs Powell, wonder how Steve would feel about this. Inflation is your fault. So we're going to, the brainwashing publication that it is, Mockingbird asset by the U.S. intelligence agencies, that's really what The Atlantic is. They're telling you, they're gaslighting you so much. They know you aren't going to do your homework, and they're going to tell you inflation is your fault. When we know, by definition, inflation is resulted from currency printing, from the government expanding the currency supply. It's the only reason inflation happens. Rising prices is not inflation. That's just rising prices. So when there are swings in markets, that could be rising prices or lowering of prices. That's not inflation. Inflation only happens in one way. As Milton Friedman talked about, inflation is always because of government currency printing anywhere and everywhere. That's it. Period. End of story. Inflation itself is government expansion of currency supply. And if you think of a big pool of currency, the greater you expand the currency, the prices of the economy or in the economy are a sponge. What happens when there's more and more water? What happens to that sponge? Prices have to rise. The sponge has to grow in order to suck up all the liquidity. And we are living through a time where the brainwashing is so bad and the gaslighting is so bad. We even have Bitcoin ETFs. The main reason for the next inflation crisis. Are you literally kidding me? Stop buying expensive things. This lady says, who is it, Annie? Annie Lowry. Yeah, this lady is just off the deep end. I'm sorry, Annie, but we have to be smarter than this. Stop buying expensive things. People are so mad about high prices. Why do they keep buying so many things? Why do you keep buying food? Why do you keep buying food? It's your fault inflation is high. It's your fault that you're eating, buying water, and things you need to live in the daily necessities. Stop buying things, you morons. You're an absolute moron if you're buying things. That's why inflation's high. Think about the world we're in right now. Think about it, truly. And Bitcoin ETFs, the main reason for the next inflation crisis. What are you literally talking about? People that want freedom, no matter where you are, whether you're a Bitcoiner, whether you're a Republican, maybe you're progressive, I don't know where you are in life, but if you want freedom at all, if you want freedom of speech, of thought, to defend yourself, freedom of anything in life, to make your own decisions, you are under attack, and you will be attacked more and more and more going forward. I'm guaranteeing that now. Things will get worse before they get better. The easiest day to stand and say something and to put evil in its place is today. The next hardest day is tomorrow, and the next after that. Good people have to stand up and say something. Period. Evil only exists because good people stand idly by, silent, and do nothing. Inflation is your fault. That's the name. I'll link it in here. That's the article. How would Steve Jobs feel about one of the greatest capitalists of all time, the greatest inventors of all time, and yet his magazine that he owns, his family owns, is now telling you inflation is your fault? Think about that. We are in clown world. Stop buying expensive things. Stop buying food. And prices wouldn't go up. They'd go down then. If no one bought anything, they'd just go down. I'll link to these. Absolutely incredible. We are in such a massive cognitive dissonance crisis right now that we're at the end of empires, when people have not been taught anything in government-run schools for decades, and media has been blasting you with propaganda that was paid for by inflation and currency printing, stealing your time and energy away from you to blast you, turn around and blast you back in the head with ad council ads, public-private partnerships, ad campaigns, commercial campaigns, everything. Mockingbird assets like these Atlantic, MSNBC, CNN, etc., books, book after book, Brian Stelter's of the world selling 3,000 copies, and it's just a hit job the entire time. These are all assets used to brainwash the public, and it only happens through a broken monetary system. This wouldn't happen in a merit-based system with accountability and responsibility, a finite system where only people who provide value obtain the money, which would make all people get off their rear ends and start providing value. Period. In a world like this, now anything flies. Bad companies exist, bad people exist, and bad people still are going to exist, but a lot less of them, because they will have to get off their butt and actually provide something. Now you can just grift. Now you can just rent seek. Now you can just do ridiculous things, be a company giving terrible products and service, and you just get bailed out anyway. You get bailed out because government's going to come in, too big to fail, bail you out, steal time and energy away from people over here that are actually doing stuff, redistribute it back to their friends who are providing the the terrible product and service, providing the propaganda, beating everyone over the heads constantly, brainwashing them over and over again, gaslighting them, telling them inflation is their fault, and telling them they need to vote Democrat, they need to vote for Marxists, they need to vote for communists. What kind of world do we live in? Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. Trust but verify. Please share yourself. The algorithm hates truth. Truly hates truth. This is why all of our videos don't go out. This is why my buddy just had his 340,000 person TikTok channel just like mine. Gone. Mine got to 3,400 followers 2 years ago. Blacklisted, ditched. 500 followers a week, 5 a week. Same content. Okay. Strikes. But, you know, we can have Devil 666 content everywhere. That's fine. Totally fine. Out there, you can have people in, you know, wearing tooth floss all over their body, and that's it. Can see 99% of their body. Totally fine. Totally fine. And there's nothing going on here, guys. There's nothing going on. Nothing to see. It's not financial advice. It's freedom advice. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.